Have you ever wondered why your joints hurt more on some days, even when you haven't done anything differently? Maybe you woke up one morning and your knees were so stiff it felt like they'd rusted overnight. Or maybe you were doing just fine yesterday, but today, it feels like you're dragging your whole body through molasses. No injuries, no major changes, just pain that seems to appear out of nowhere. And you start asking yourself, is this just how aging works? Is this my new normal? Let me tell you something, friend. Pain is never just part of getting older. Arthritis doesn't show up and destroy your joints in one big moment. It creeps in slowly, quietly, day by day. And here's the truth that most people miss. It's not always the big things that hurt us. It's the small, everyday habits, things we do without thinking, that quietly wear us down over time. A simple decision, a skipped step, an old routine. These can be the difference between another good year on your feet or a slow slide into stiffness, swelling, and loss of movement. I see all the time seniors doing their best, trying to cope, not realizing that some of the very things they're doing every day are actually worsening their arthritis. And that's why this video matters. Because arthritis isn't just pain. It's the slow loss of freedom, of independence, of being able to hold your grandchild or go for a morning walk, or even get up without wincing. But what if I told you that it doesn't have to be that way? What if I told you that there are 5 common habits that might be quietly stealing your mobility, and that once you recognize them, you can take back control? That's what we're diving into today. In this video, I'll walk you through those 5 habits, ones I see all the time in my work as an arthritis doctor. I'll explain why they make your joints worse, and what you can start doing differently today. And that last habit, even most doctors overlook it. But I promise, it could be the one thing that truly changes your day-to-day life. So take a deep breath. You're not alone in this. If you're tired of just putting up with the pain, if you're ready to feel even a little more in control of your body again, then this video is for you. And hey, comment "still fighting" below if you're determined to take control of your joint health. Let me know you're here. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Care for more tips, insights, and honest conversations to help you keep aging strong. Let's get into it. Let's start with something I see almost every day. Picture a grandfather who used to walk every morning. Same time, same route. He'd wave to the neighbors, nod at the mailman, feel the morning breeze on his face. That walk wasn't just routine, it was a rhythm that kept him feeling like himself. But over time, the pain in his knees grew louder. The stiffness in his hips lasted longer. One day he skipped the walk, then another. And before long, the routine became the recliner. Day in, day out, he sat there. "I'm just resting my joints," he'd say, "taking it easy." It sounds reasonable, right? When something hurts, you rest it. That's what we've been told since childhood. But with arthritis, that instinct can quietly betray you. Here's the truth. Arthritic joints don't get better with stillness. They get worse. See, inside your joints is a special fluid called synovial fluid. Think of it as your body's natural joint oil. But that fluid only circulates when you move. Without movement, it sits still. The joint stiffens. The cartilage gets less nutrition. The muscles around it weaken. And what started as mild discomfort slowly turns into chronic pain. Now I know, it's not easy to move when your body's already screaming at you. The idea of exercising when you're aching sounds almost cruel. But this isn't about running marathons or lifting weights. I'm talking about gentle, intentional movement. Standing up every hour and walking across the room. A few slow laps around the yard. 10 minutes of stretching in the morning light. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen. The biggest misconception I hear is this: if I rest more, the pain will go away. But with arthritis, the opposite is usually true. Too much rest becomes rust. So ask yourself, when was the last time you moved with intention? Not just shuffled from the couch to the kitchen, but truly moved your body in a way that showed it you still care. Because arthritis doesn't ask for grand gestures. It just asks you to keep showing up. But movement is only part of the picture. What you're putting into your body each day, that might be quietly adding fuel to the fire. And it's time we talk about that. I remember an elderly woman I once treated, sharp mind, warm heart, and a sweet tooth that never left her. She kept a little bowl of candy by her bedside. It was her comfort, something she'd done since childhood. Just a few pieces at night, she'd tell me with a smile. They helped me relax. And how could you blame her? That little moment of sweetness, it brought her peace. It reminded her of easier times. But over the months, she began to notice more swelling. Her fingers started to ache more often. Her morning stiffness got longer. And slowly, her mobility shrank. Here's the thing, sugar is sneaky. It doesn't hurt you in one bite. It doesn't announce itself with a sharp jab like a twisted ankle. Sugar works quietly, invisibly. It feeds inflammation in the body. It stirs up a low-level fire in your joints. And when you already have arthritis, that fire doesn't take much to turn into a full-blown flare. Most people don't think of sugar as a trigger. It's not the villain in the stories we grew up with. We think a little treat won't hurt. But when that treat becomes a daily comfort, and that comfort becomes a habit, that's when the damage begins. It's not just candy either. It's the hidden sugars in packaged foods, the morning pastries, the sweetened coffee creamers. They add up, and they build a storm inside your body that your joints can't handle. But here's the good news. You don't have to live a joyless, flavorless life. You don't have to cut out pleasure to cut out sugar. You just have to shift it. Reach for a handful of walnuts. They're packed with healthy fats that actually calm inflammation. Try frozen berries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, rich in antioxidants and naturally sweet without the crash. Even a square of dark chocolate, in moderation, can satisfy the craving without feeding the fire. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about honoring your body. Every bite is a choice. Every snack is a message you send to your joints. So the next time you reach for that sweet moment, pause. Ask yourself, is this comfort or is this cost? Because what you feed your body today, your joints will answer for tomorrow. And speaking of what goes into your body, there's one habit that almost everyone overlooks. Something so simple, so basic, we forget it even matters. Hydration. Let's talk about it. I had a patient once, sharp dresser, loved classic jazz, always had a quick joke ready. He came in complaining about stiff knees and aching hands that just wouldn't loosen up. We went through his routines, his meds, his diet, and then I asked, how much water do you drink in a day? He paused, thought about it for a second, and chuckled. I drink coffee. That counts, right? But here's the thing. Coffee isn't water. Neither is tea. Neither is soda or juice or any of the flavored drinks we often turn to without thinking. And the older we get, the easier it is to forget about something as basic as water. See, your body doesn't shout when it's thirsty the way it used to. That natural thirst signal, it weakens with age. And when arthritis is already making you feel sluggish or in pain, dehydration quietly makes everything worse. Think of your joints like hinges on a door. They need oil fluid to glide smoothly. That oil in your body is synovial fluid. And when you're well hydrated, your body produces and circulates it more effectively. But when you're not drinking enough water, that fluid thickens. It dries up, and suddenly your joints are grinding instead of gliding. The result? More friction, more stiffness, more pain. And it doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in just like arthritis does. Quiet, slow, and steady. The misconception is that older adults just don't need as much water anymore. But your joints don't get that memo. They still need lubrication. Your cells still need hydration. And your body, your whole body, still runs better on water. Now I know, plain water isn't always exciting. It's not flashy. It doesn't bring comfort the way a cup of coffee might. But your joints don't need excitement. They need consistency. Start small. Set a gentle reminder every 2 hours. Just a little nudge. Take a sip. Not a chug, not a full glass. Just enough to keep the wheels turning. Add a splash of lemon if you need flavor. Keep a bottle within arm's reach. Create a ritual. First sip when you wake up, last sip before bed. And if you start doing this one thing day after day, your body will thank you in ways you'll feel every time you stand, stretch, or take a walk. Now let's go deeper. This next habit is sneaky because it sounds like a good idea. It sounds like something that's helping you. But the truth is, over time, it could be doing more harm than good. There was a man I treated, retired, proud, never one to complain. He'd wake up early every morning, sit at the kitchen table with his newspaper, and before even sipping his coffee, he'd take 2 pain pills, then another dose at lunch, and again before bed. I asked him once, do they help? He sighed. They take the edge off, but the pain's always there. This is more common than most people realize. Over-the-counter painkillers, NSAIDs like ibuprofen or naproxen, can feel like a lifeline when your joints hurt. They promise quick relief, and at first they deliver. But over time, that relief becomes a crutch, a habit, something you take automatically, not because it still helps, but because you don't know what else to do. And here's the hard truth. Using NSAIDs too often doesn't just stop helping. It can actually hurt you. These drugs reduce inflammation in the short term, but when taken day after day, they begin to wear down the very cartilage that cushions your joints. They affect your stomach lining, strain your liver, and, most dangerously, they can damage your kidneys, especially in older adults. So while you might feel a little less pain today, you could be weakening your joint for tomorrow. The big misconception is this: if I take more, I'll feel better. But arthritis doesn't work that way. The pain you feel is complex. It's not just inflammation. It's wear and tear, it's joint degradation, it's muscle tension. And no pill can fix all that. In fact, chronic use of painkillers can dull your body's ability to respond. You get less effect over time. You rely on them more. And the real healing, the kind that comes from movement, nutrition, and strength, gets pushed further away. But you're not out of options. There are alternatives that can support your body without the long-term risks. Natural anti-inflammatories like turmeric, taken consistently, can reduce joint swelling. Guided physical therapy helps strengthen the muscles around your joints, so they don't have to work so hard. Warm compresses or Epsom salt baths can ease stiffness without medication. Even mindfulness techniques, deep breathing, body awareness, can help calm the nervous system and reduce your perception of pain. You don't have to go cold turkey. You don't have to suffer. But you do deserve options that don't quietly make things worse. If you find yourself reaching for pain pills out of habit, ask yourself, what else could I try today? What might my body respond to if I gave it a chance? Because relief is possible, but it starts by looking beyond the bottle. And that brings us to the final habit. It's not physical. It doesn't show up in blood work or on an x-ray, but it may be the most damaging of all, because it's the one people carry quietly deep inside without ever realizing how heavy it is. She sat across from me, shoulders drawn in, eyes a little tired. Her husband had passed a year earlier, and in that quiet space where companionship used to live, pain had crept in, not just in her heart, but in her joints. Her wrists ached more. Her knees were always swollen. When I asked how she was coping, she smiled softly and said, "I can't afford to cry. It makes me feel weak." And in that sentence, I saw what so many seniors live with but never say out loud: the grief, the weight, the stress they carry alone. Here's what many people don't realize. Emotional pain doesn't stay in your head. It travels. It settles in the body. And if you're already living with arthritis, stress doesn't just make you feel sad or overwhelmed. It can make your joints swell. When we suppress stress, we raise cortisol, our body's primary stress hormone. Now, cortisol isn't bad in short bursts. It helps us survive. But when it stays high for too long, day after day, it turns against us. It triggers inflammation. It tightens muscles. It amplifies pain signals. And it puts your immune system on edge, making arthritis worse, more frequent, and harder to manage. So while it may feel strong to stay silent, to push everything down, to smile through the pain, what you're really doing is giving that stress nowhere to go, except deeper into your body. We've been told that emotional strength means not talking about it. But in truth, real strength is facing it. And arthritis care isn't just about joints and medicine. It's about your whole being. Talk to someone you trust, a friend, a family member, a neighbor. Let a little of it out, just enough to lighten the load. Or journal. Let your words fall out freely onto a page no one else has to see. Sit quietly and breathe. Let the silence be a place of healing instead of loneliness. And if you're feeling truly isolated, join a support group, online or in person. You'll find you're not the only one carrying this. Your emotions matter. Your inner life matters. And when you care for your heart, your body follows. Because pain isn't just physical, It's woven through your story, your memory, your resilience. And when you bring light to those hidden places, your body can finally start to heal from the inside out. These habits, avoiding movement, eating too much sugar, not drinking water, overusing painkillers, and bottling up stress, they might seem small on their own. But together, the toll they take over time can be devastating. Let's talk about what that really means for you and for those who love you. You know what's hard? It's not just the pain itself. It's watching someone you love, someone who once stood tall, who once moved with ease, struggle to open a jar, to tie their own shoes, to reach down and hug their grandkids without flinching. It's that look they get when they think no one's watching, that quiet moment where frustration meets fatigue and they wonder, is this just who I am now? That hurts, not just for them, but for you, because whether it's your own body or someone close to you, the slow loss of movement and comfort doesn't just change what the body can do. It starts to chip away at the spirit. But you're not powerless. Recognizing these 5 habits, seeing them for what they are, isn't about blame. It's not about guilt. It's not about looking back and wishing you'd done things differently. It's about now. It's about this moment. And it's about what you do next. Because once you know what's quietly making your arthritis worse, you have a choice. You can keep going the same way. Or you can just begin to move toward change. And that change, it doesn't have to be big. You don't need a complete lifestyle overhaul overnight. All I'm asking is this. Today, choose one habit to shift. Just one. Maybe it's taking a short walk after breakfast. Maybe it's swapping out your sweet snack for something that heals instead of harms. Maybe it's setting a water reminder. Maybe it's cutting back one dose of pain meds just to see how you feel. Or maybe it's finally letting yourself cry. Finally letting someone in. Because even the smallest changes, done with consistency, done with love, can open doors you thought were locked forever. And I want you to hear this. You don't have to age into pain. You don't have to accept suffering as the cost of growing older. You don't have to shrink your life down to what hurts the least. You can age into strength, into wisdom, into grace. You can rebuild what arthritis has taken. Maybe not completely, but meaningfully, day by day, with awareness, with care, with support. You deserve that. You made it through so much already. Don't let pain define your future. Let awareness do that. Let hope do that. And if no one's told you this in a while, you're doing better than you think. And it's not too late, not even close, to turn things around. So let's take a breath and bring this all together. To recap, the 5 everyday habits that quietly worsen arthritis, the ones that sneak up on you or slip into your routine without a second thought, are these. Avoiding movement, eating too much sugar, not drinking enough water, overusing pain medications, and maybe the hardest one, suppressing stress. They might sound simple, small, but together, they can shape the way your body ages more than almost anything else. So now I want to hear from you. Which one of these surprised you the most? Was there one that made you stop and think, oh, I do that without even realizing? Or maybe you're seeing these habits in someone you love, someone who's struggling but doesn't know why. Share your story in the comments. I read every single one, really, because this space, elderly care, isn't just about giving advice. It's about listening and building a community where no one has to face these things alone. And if any part of this resonated with you, if you found even one sentence that gave you hope or clarity, or just a sense that you're not crazy for wanting to feel better, then I invite you to hit subscribe. No pressure, just an open hand. Because at Elderly Care, we're not here to preach. We're here to support you week after week with practical insights, stories that matter, and gentle reminders that you're worth taking care of. So, thank you for showing up, for being curious, for caring enough to learn something new, whether for yourself or for someone you love. Take care of your joints. Take care of your heart, and I'll see you in the next video.